Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. It's Bear here. And I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, A Box with No Lid. A channel I'm creating to not only bring the awareness and understanding of the lived reality trauma creates, but I really want to delve into the mechanics of trauma response and to through that to learn and discover ways of healing, truly healing from trauma. Now, in this video, I've said it in a few. I want to start to delve into MDMA. I need my piece of paper here. It is methylenedioxymethamphetamine. Very, very big, complicated word. And I admire practitioners who have zero issue with pronouncing all these chemistry words and chemical words. But MDMA is something that I believe has an extreme potential to do a lot of good in the world of therapy if used in the correct way. Now, there are two paths they're taking these studies down and the trials down. And over here in Australia, in my area, they're doing it as a feel-good pill, a daily pill, which, yeah, it will be helpful. But my concern is that it will be helpful short term, then the tolerance levels, they'll go the path of everything that gets used that way. And I was hoping that it would be going down the second path, which is a therapeutic process, where it's a part of a therapeutic process, not the bed that will fix everything. There are numerous trials on YouTube, on the Google, that show the exploration of how to build this base of a therapeutic use of MDMA in trauma, particularly in combat trauma, with some great successes. Now, I want to couple in this video. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a chemist, and there are lots of lines I will not and cannot cross. But I want to put forward just my perspective or my understanding and interpretation and what I hope. And this is just my opinion and my perspective. But I want to add this into the mix because of where I feel the potential of this can go. Because MDMA is the closest component in pharmacology in modern society to how certain medicinal plants were used in traditional indigenous societies for thousands of years. When you look at peyote, when you look at ayahuasca in certain ways it's used, not in a lot of the ways the Westerners use it now, but in a different form of ceremony. There are different herbs and berries in countries and in tribal peoples all over the world that are used as a way of healing and reconstructing from severe trauma. And if we use those as a guidepost to constructing the therapies and can ensure that what is required and is needed to be present is there, then microdosing MDMA could be extremely useful in healing trauma. To give a very basic overview, when you have a person, when we try to recall or deal with trauma, we get triggered, we go to that freeze state and we shut down. The body goes, I can't do this. When you use some of these traditional medicines, it stops the body, it gets the body close to that point, but the body doesn't shut down. You have an elder or a healer that is pushing the construction, the healing and the releasing and the purging and everything else. Getting your story out, getting your body storing out, getting the timeline reconstructed, getting it all to come together. But you're also held and you belong, you are part of. There are other people there that are creating that physical environment of safe. Not just somebody saying, well, this is a safe room, you're protected. You're physically being held, you're physically being confident, you're physically being supported in a way and from people that you know and trust. You have that belonging. You have a person that you respect guiding you through. You have the everything your body requires to tell the story of what happened, to process from overwhelmment to releasing all the restored responses that were frozen in time, and that experience becoming and transitioning into memory. MDMA is a tool that we can use for that. But in the sessions, we need to fulfill the requirements of the person being physically safe, to where their body knows that they are physically safe, to where there is physical contact. You are held, you are secured. Because when we go into that state, think of it as you're trying to support and comfort an infant or a young child. If we can get to that understanding, the body will go, I can do this. And you have a therapist that's asking the questions and steering the direction of thought and recall and story in a way that helps reconstruct the timeline. And you're using the MDMA so that the body doesn't overload. If we can do this and achieve this, I think it'd be one of the greatest and most powerful ways to heal, especially when you're looking at preverbal and early childhood trauma. Especially preverbal, because you're allowing the body to be, the body responses to be reconstructed and taken back prior to all the developmental trauma response. And allowing the body to go, this is a different environment. And as I've said in all the videos, the key to healing is belonging. That needs to be there. So when we're looking into the studies of using MDMA or the like, we really need to take into account the ecology that is required for the body to heal. Not just a way of profiting for a drug company or the quick path, the easy path. Healing trauma is complicated, and it always will be. Healing trauma is expensive, and it always will be, when you're looking at it in a Western construct. But the price tag of not doing anything is far higher. And if we go back to learning from traditional societies, we can see what has worked for thousands of years and take that knowledge into our modern environment to understand how we can actually create therapies that will heal. And we can do it in a setting that will work. So keep this in mind. As I said, this is my opinion and my view. But I've seen enough in traditional societies in my time there that when the old protocols of that community are used as the bedrock of their healing ceremonies and their healing processes, I've seen true miracles that I've never seen in a Western construct happen. I've never seen it. But I've seen, multiple tour combat veterans with chronic addictions and high cases of violence become true healers and leaders in their community through these protocols and these traditions and these ceremonies. And they have become bedrock members of rebuilding a tribal society. So I know this stuff works. And as I said, MDMA is the closest to what a Western society will accept and allow to be administered within a therapeutic setting. But as I said, we need to meld the two worlds. And we need the ecologies to be fulfilled in regards to being safe and being guided and being supported. If we can achieve this, as I said, MDMA has the best potential to do a lot of good. So, as I said, this video is in my humble opinion, but I wanted to put that out there because it's now being explored. And I want all of you guys out there to start to look into what is in your area and start to give your voice to what, as we develop these therapies and start to explore these things. participate in how these studies and trials are shaped. It can take just an email or a letter. It can take a phone call or speaking up at your work or at a conference or wherever this question is asked. And the more of us who do that, we can participate in getting these therapies where we need them to be. So as always, I love your guys' feedback and comments. Please be mindful, please be respectful, and I'll see you next time. Hope.